Hi guys, welcome back to GP Reactions. I hope you're well, hope you're having a great day and a great weekend, and thanks to everybody that subscribed. I really appreciate it, especially as I haven't really been consistently posting videos over the last couple of months due to one thing or another. You know, the way like life catches up with you when you're busy making plans. Sure, somebody said that. So anyway, this is a track I'm going to be reacting to by the Specials. I haven't heard this. I believe this was like the B-side to #1 single in June 1981, Ghost Town, which I don't think was an album track anyway. It was a non-album track, just a standalone single. So this is the B-side to it. It's called Friday Night and Saturday Morning, and this is somebody's wonderful vinyl turntable. So I hope you enjoy this, guys. So without further ado, let's click play. I like the beat.
Out of bed at 8 a.m. Out my head by 10:30. Out with mates and dates and friends. That's what I do at weekends. I can't talk and I can't walk, but I know where I'm going to go. I'm going to watch my money go. At the Locarno, no. When my feet go through the door, I know what my right arm is for. Buy a drink and pull a chair up to the edge of the dance floor. Bouncers bouncing through the night, trying to stop or start a fight. I sit and watch the flashing lights, moving legs in footless tights. I go out on Friday night and I come home on Saturday morning. I go out on Friday night and I come home on Saturday morning. I like to venture into town. I like to get a few drinks down. The floor gets packed, the bar gets full. I don't like life when things get dull. The hen party have saved the night and freed themselves from drunken stags, having fun and dancing in a circle round the leather bags. I go out on Friday night and I come home on Saturday morning. I go out on Friday night and I come home on Saturday morning.
Sorry, just to pause it there. Again, it feels like the theme of the it's like a carousel organ type music. It's carried on like that funhouse kind of music from the Ghost Town, which was on the A side. I really enjoyed this track. It kind of reminds me of those days when you would your whole working week culminated in just going out. And to be fair, it was when you went out, it was you'd have your like your giggles and your laughs and stuff, but it was more of a routine that you did. It was like clocking into the pub or the club, then you clock out at 2 a.m. in the case of clubs, and you go to maybe find something to eat, and then the whole week would start again, and it would build up towards the weekend. And it's weird because you saw that weekend as your freedom to have fun, but in effect it was like another kind of routine that you had to fulfill. And I guess I went through a period of time where I did go out to the pub. I mean, I went out to the pub every night at some point in my life, and then I didn't, and then I started again. But yeah, it kind of brings back those memories, and I love his delivery as well, because it's like, yeah, well, you know what, life's kind of like a bit dull. We're looking for something to happen. We go to the same kind of club. I think in this case it's a Locarno, which is, I believe it's like a ballroom disco. We go to the disco, sit at the floor, getting a bit boring. Let's hope something kind of happens. Or there's a stag party and as a hen party, or at least it'll be a bit more interesting because we'll see the bouncers probably having to intercede, and that'll give us something to chat about before the next weekend out. So that was the specials with Friday night, Saturday morning, and that was B-side to the mega massive Ghost Town, number one. I really enjoyed that record. It essentially kind of summed up pretty much probably half my life. That was, and yeah, and at two, I mean, I even said at 2 o'clock when the clubs kick you out, and that's when everybody, you kind of find those joints where you can get, fish and chips, not even fish and chips. It was usually some sort of dreadful old bit of food that had been reheated probably, or some really dodgy kebab. And the interesting thing is that, we have antibiotics, we have medicines, we have vaccines, but the greatest cure of my life was probably the beer. Beer could kill anything. It didn't matter how bad a certain food was. The beer would sort it out. You could have a kebab as long as you had a belly full of like alcohol. The kebab never did you any harm, and you woke up the next day either a little worse for wear, or full of the excitement of what happened the night before, if anything at all happened. Most nights were, as I say, you had your giggles and you had your bit of a laugh, and you might have had a little bit of a dance. You spent an awful lot of time stood with a drink, not being able to chat to the person next to you because it was too loud, and then it was kind of like, time to go. My feet are hurting now. I actually like during the 80s, from the moment I was 18, I probably went out drinking for every night for about 10 years, pretty much most nights for about 10 years. And then I kind of stopped for a bit, and then I did do nightclubs as well, but I wasn't so keen on them back then. I just kind of found them really boring. I like to talk to people. I think it's about 1992 I didn't go to a nightclub, between about 1992 and then in the noughties it's about 1996 I started going back to nightclubs. A bit more confidence about dancing as well. I wasn't really much of a dancer in the 80s. I was just kind of like a drinker, really. I like to drink, like to fool about, and but yeah, in the 90s I kind of ventured onto the dance floor a little bit more, and it kind of gave that night a little bit more aspect to it. But for sure, you never quite know what you were stepping in, or what had, and toilets weren't great at the end of the night. And when you used to crawl out of the clubs, Doesn't matter how well you presented at the beginning of a night. Um, it was kind of like it was starting to slip by about 2 o'clock in the morning, and yeah, I can imagine actually walking into the pizza shops and the takeaways that it would probably looked like the entire cast of the Thriller video from Michael Jackson's Thriller. But yeah, I wouldn't. I'd love to relive the majority of those days because they were amazing, and this song really kind of encapsulates and it's an eternal thing, I think. 'Cause, I mean, this was out in 1981. I didn't start clubbing until sort of like 85, 86, and yeah, it's just one of those aspects of life that never really kind of change. I mean, I guarantee that last night there was somebody who was out in some massive party somewhere or a club, and they were going through exactly the same things as I'd gone through, as these guys have gone through, as people in the 70s probably went through. And these things never change. It's like a rite of passage in life to be out doing these things. I never had too many hangovers, really. I wasn't a huge drinker. And I kind of learned my lesson very early on when I was probably about 15, 16, that booze can have a weird effect on you, and it can make you feel like you're going to die the next day. And I'll tell you a quick story actually, and I've never drank this since that time. I think it was 1983. I was invited to a party. It was a friend of my brother's, and essentially his dad was in the police. He was like a chief inspector or something. And I'd been to one of his parties the previous Christmas, and that was that real fun. It was a really fun atmosphere. And his party was great, but it was in the middle of the summer. And it was like on this evening that I was introduced to an alcohol called Carlsberg Special Brew. And I wasn't really a drinker. I didn't really drink that much at the previous party. Probably, I don't know, maybe a can or something. Wasn't really into drinking. But yeah, this is the first time I actually had a few cans with me, and I was going to drink them. And I remember it was a really warm night. We're outside. I brought my friends with me. So I had my little collective. And all I can remember was I started feeling really tipsy. And this lager had a really strong, acidic, like bitter taste to it. And I kind of recall I went upstairs to try and find somewhere cool so I could sit and contemplate and gather myself for a while. And what I found this little bedroom, and I walked out to where the balcony were. Not balcony, it was like a little window, and just below the window was this little roof like you'd have over a porch. And as I'm going, breathing in, breathing out, and also must add that just after drinking these, I think I had 2 or 3 cans of Carlsberg Special Brew, I was fondling down cold chicken legs and something else, I think, I don't know, pickled onion or something. So I'm stood on this window and I'm breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And all of a sudden I just hurled straight out of this window. And it was really embarrassing, but I mean, I didn't really care because I felt so ill. Already I was feeling like, ugh, couldn't stand up. So I vaguely remember kind of getting home. I didn't live too far away. I sort of crawled home, and the next day that was my first hangover. And bearing in mind I'd only drank 3 cans, I was mortally ill. I was going to die pretty much the next day. And my mum started offering me breakfast, and I was going, and I just couldn't eat anything. And eventually I felt a little bit better. So that was great. And then I discovered this new this new phenomenon. It's called finding out what happened the night before, and it's a really fun, fabulous thing, because when you get drunk, you live in your own little bubble. But the day after, when you're sobered up, you can find out what everybody else got up to that night. And my brother kind of like recounted the different stories. There's a couple of reprobates that entered the party They weren't really invited. Nobody really knows how they got in. And they ended up stealing his dad's car, and something like a 60-year-old bottle of whiskey that he had put away. And like this friend of my brother, then he also said that, this happened and that happened. And he said, and then some bastard threw up all over his two friends. And my brother said, how did that happen? And apparently somebody threw up out of a window upstairs, and it landed all over this couple that were below, who were making out and getting jiggy with it. And I pretty much never admitted that that person could well have been me, my window chunking. So yeah, that's a little story of caution to anyone out there who may consider ever drinking anything strong, especially lager. And kind of put me off drinking anyway for a while. I've never really been a big drinker since, but getting back to a record, I do fondly remember nights out like this, and you never knew what you was going to end up with on treading on or walking in throughout the clubs and stuff. So guys, hope you enjoyed this track. Hope this track maybe brings memories back for you. It's great to hear this for the first time. I can't believe I've never heard this before, and it does make you wonder what other little gems the specials had that I've never heard either. So yeah, join me in the comments below, and till next time, take care of yourselves and each other, and have a great weekend, or have a great rest of the week.